Jung Hoo Lee, Jon Heyman wrote today, Dennis Lin in The Athletic wrote today about Jung Hoo Lee. Jon Heyman recently says here, the Padres appear to be at the forefront of talks involving Korean free agent center fielder Jung Hoo Lee. And Lee especially makes sense now that the Padres have a couple new holes in their outfield. Again, that is Jon Heyman in the New York Post. Dennis Lin, he wrote some possibilities, some potential options for the Padres after trading Juan Soto. Going out and getting Jung Hoo Lee was a part of this. That was the first thing that he put. Sign Jung Hoo Lee. Says here, the Padres need a left fielder and a center fielder. Padres have had serious conversations, according to Dennis Lin, about attempting to sign Jung Hoo Lee, prominent new free agent. He won the 2022 MVP of the KBO, Korea Baseball Organization. He has a little less than a month to sign with the Major League Baseball team. There's a posting period. And then the Padres would have to pay a posting fee as well. Tim Britton of The Athletic projects Lee to get 4 years, $56 million. So that's, $14 million a year? And then there's the posting fee of $10.3 million. So that would cost the Padres, obviously, almost $70 million for Jung Hoo Lee for 4 years. Where I stand on this is if the Padres landed Jung Hoo Lee, I would be excited because of some of the numbers that I've seen him have and post with KBO, with the Heroes, which I believe is the team that Ha-Seong Kim played for. Kim and Lee, they're like best friends. Kim has helped prepare Jung Hoo Lee for the big leagues. He actually helped Jung Hoo Lee, I believe, this past year with a adjustment offensively. And to end his season, he actually started to hit better with that adjustment. I believe Dennis Lin detailed that in his Athletic piece. So, yeah, there is that relationship there. And maybe Ha-Seong Kim would want to stay more with the Padres and not care as much about the money if Jung Hoo Lee is with the Padres. Maybe the Padres want to take that into account. But I feel like money still talks a lot, obviously, because it is a business and there's a limited time frame where these players can go hit the jackpot and maximize the amount of money that they can get. So I understand that. But looking at Jung Hoo Lee, 2017 to 2023 in the KBO, he's playing a lot of games, over 140 games in 4 of these seasons. These are the batting averages. And batting average is not everything, but Masataka Yoshida was a guy that hit for average, and now he's with the Boston Red Sox. 324 in 2017, then 355, 336, 333, 360, 349, 318. OPS, 812, 889, 842, 921, 959, 996, and 860. He did deal with, I believe, an ankle injury this past year, but this guy is a hitter. This is a guy that could be at the top of the Padres lineup, or it would be Ha-Seong Kim. I feel like they would want Ha-Seong Kim to be the leadoff guy, or maybe it's Tatis, but they probably want Ha-Seong Kim up there, especially coming off of the year they just had. And maybe Lee is someone that hits more down in the order. But yeah, this, when you look at the numbers, this is someone that is not going to hit for a ton of power. He has double-digit home runs twice, 15 home runs in 2020, and he had 23 home runs in 2022. So don't expect a ton of power out of this guy. But my thought on Lee here is it's an interesting guy, someone that can fill a hole that you have, a couple holes here. He can play center, but he can play left as well. So I don't know where the Padres would put him. Maybe in center field. It feels like he's being labeled as a center fielder. So let's say it's center field. Tatis can stand right, and then they go bring in a left fielder, whoever that may be. The question mark I have with Jung Hoo Lee is how is he going to adjust to big league pitching, though? And Ha-Seong Kim evidently has helped Jung Hoo Lee out with trying to adjust quicker to big league pitching. It says here from Dennis Lin, Ha-Seong Kim relayed how he struggled in his first experiences against big league velocity, eventually prompting significant swing adjustments. Lee, with Kim's help, sought a shorter learning curve while still playing in the KBO in 2023, and he later seemed to find some comfort with his reworked swing. Over his final 20 games before a July ankle injury, Lee hit .403 for the Kiwoom Heroes. Again, projected 4 years, 56 mil. And that's great that Kim has tried to help Lee out, but it's one of those things. I feel like I've never stepped in a big league batter's box and faced big league pitching. But I mean, the only, I guess, experience I have is I think at one time at the Brickyard batting cages, I was in there and had one of the workers crank it up to Steven Strasburg velocity just to see it. This was when I was really young, and I was just blown away by that velocity. I assume it's pretty darn tough to hit big league pitching, and I think big league pitching is harder to hit than the KBO. I don't want to make it seem like the KBO is, you know, high school baseball or college baseball, but major leagues, you're constantly seeing upper 90s. That's not a rarity anymore. You're seeing constant upper 90s. You're seeing guys throw over 100 miles per hour. How would Jung Hoo Lee do against someone like Johan Duran with the Minnesota Twins, who's throwing 102? How would he do against Josh Hader? You have to ask that question because that is a risk. So would you rather go with Jung Hoo Lee, who might take some time to develop, and the Padres need to win right now? Would you rather go with that? Now, it would be long term. It would be probably 4 or 5 years, let's say. So you have that. But would you want to take that risk or go with someone that can play center field short term before someone like Jacob Marcy comes up and can play center field? Jacob Marcy might be battling for the center field spot, according to AJ Preller in spring training. Maybe he's just giving Jacob Marcy some confidence, but we'll see how that turns out. But that is a risk. There are other center fielders out there, like Kevin Kiermaier, like Michael A. Taylor, guys that have played center field. Their main position is center field, and they have faced big league pitching for a while now, where Jung Hoo Lee has not done that. So that is a question mark. And at Petco Park, he doesn't even have much power with KBO. He's going to have no power at Petco Park, is what I would assume. Now, Ha-Seong Kim at the beginning, remember, he didn't have power. Then he got stronger, learned how long of a season Major League Baseball is, and now he has developed more power, and he's more of a power hitter. Let's look at Ha-Seong Kim's development here, just to maybe set like a track of what Jung Hoo Lee might look like. 2023, obviously, his best year yet. He keeps getting better. 2021, smaller sample size, 117 games, but look at the OPS plus, 73. 2022, it was 105. 2023, it was 110. So keeps getting better. The average, 202, then 251, then 260. On base percentage, 270, 325, 351. Slugging, 352, 383, 398. OPS, 622, 708, 749. So it took time. Home runs, 8 home runs, 11 home runs, 17 home runs. Runs driven in, 34, 59, 60. It takes time. And again, that first year with Ha-Seong Kim, I understand it was a smaller sample size, but we knew he was there first year. He had to get used to it. It took time. He's always been a strong defender. I don't know how strong of a defender Jung Hoo Lee is. And so I guess that would be a little bit of a risk as well, where someone like Kevin Kiermaier, we know that he's a very good defensive center fielder. We know Michael A. Taylor is a very good defensive center fielder. Michael A. Taylor just had one of his better offensive seasons. And I think Kevin Kiermaier wants to win. And I would hope that there's a ton of hungry Padres on the 2024 team. And if we look at someone like Michael A. Taylor, would you rather have him or someone like Jung Hoo Lee? Michael A. Taylor is not someone known for his power. He's not someone known for his bat either. But it would not be on a 4 or 5 year contract that you'd be stuck in if it doesn't work out. It would be on a 1-year deal or maybe a 2-year deal, I would think. With Michael A. Taylor, he hit over 20 home runs this past year. Didn't have a great average. OPS plus was still below league average. But how much would he cost? Would he cost less than Jung Hoo Lee? The answer is yes. But it seems like there is a much higher upside for Jung Hoo Lee. But can the Padres afford to have Jung Hoo Lee be in a developmental year as one of the starting outfielders when you just traded Soto, you just traded Trent Grisham, and you're trying to win right now? So that is a question mark. But the Giants, the Padres, right now, it seems like those two are the two big front runners for Jung Hoo Lee, and that signing could happen pretty quickly. 4 years, $56 million was the prediction from the Athletics' Tim Britton. Again, if Jung Hoo Lee signed with the Padres, I would be intrigued. I would be interested. I would love the Kim Lee relationship there. That would be awesome. And someone that can hit for average, I think that would be pretty refreshing to have in the Padres lineup. But I do understand those that think the Padres need pop, and there is the risk involved there, and the Padres need to win. So there's a case for both, for sure. There's a case for both. I would lean towards going with someone like a Kevin Kiermaier or going towards someone like a Michael A. Taylor. Those guys could end up going back to the Blue Jays, going back to the Twins, or going to another team. Would I rather have Bellinger or Jung Hoo Lee? I'd rather have Jung Hoo Lee. Now, you might say, well, aren't you contradicting yourself there? Like Bellinger has experience. He's won an MVP, had just had a great year. Lee is a question mark. But Bellinger, I feel like that's going to be even longer than Jung Hoo Lee. That's going to be even more money than Jung Hoo Lee. And Bellinger has not been consistent. He had a great year, a couple great years with the Dodgers, then 3 down years, and then a great year with the Cubs. Who is this guy? That's a huge risk. And the Padres are not in a spot to give Bellinger a 7-8 year contract worth whatever Boris wants, $200+ million. That's not the best thing for the Padres to do, in my opinion. I think the best thing this offseason for the Padres, if they're going to sign Jung Hoo Lee to a 3-4 year deal or 5, whatever, okay, but not 7-8 year deals with anybody and short term deals. And then you see what those guys can give you. Hopefully they can perform. And especially starting pitching wise, see what those young guys can give, because that's how you can, build a sustainable winner, and then you can have money, more money to go supplement the other spots on the roster.